Hello, everyone. I'm here today with the venerable and wonderful Trademark-S. How are you doing today?
I am all right. How are you doing today, Ben? I'm happy to
I'm
be
doing,
here.
yeah, I'm doing wonderful. Got got done with Thanksgiving. How was yours?
My Thanksgiving was very good. I got to spend some time with my brother, and it was fantastic.
Awesome, awesome. Got any
Ate
plans for the
lots of
holidays?
turkey. Uh, no plans for the holidays just yet. I just went through a change of jobs, and I'm working with dogs, and I'm gonna be working with dogs on the holidays, and that's gonna be neat.
Cool, cool. That's good to hear. So, if you're unfamiliar with who I am, my name is Ben, known to many as the SeaTactics on the internet. I cover anime like Attack on Titan or One Piece. However, I am collaborating with Steven on many songs throughout much of his
Yes.
discography. Whether that be, just recording, inspiration, advice, or otherwise. We've been friends for about 10 years now?
Oh,
So,
it's got to be 10 years.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
how amazing these 10 years have been,
maybe
right?
even longer. Who knows?
Maybe. But tell us a little about yourself, Stephen. Where'd you come from? Who are you for, those unfamiliar?
Well, I am a musician and a composer, former composition student from Bealton, Virginia, a little town in the middle of absolute nowhere. It is in Fauquier County, the very southern end, and I've had lots of rap influence through my peers and through my education, just throughout my life. I grew up listening to lots of heavy metal, um, rock music, hard rock, punk. But my love and where I love to write music is hip hop. And I also take, I guess, like kind of a grunge approach to it, where you make it all yourself and you use the recordings that you record yourself, and it might not be the most perfect sounding thing in the world, but it's uh it's my pride and what I enjoy doing.
Where do you think you picked up that kind of that idea of picking it up and throwing down a track, whether it's perfect or not? Where'd you say you got that kind of carefree, very artistic kind of attitude?
So that attitude comes from just I have a an absolute love for music above all, and music is just a collection of noise is what it's defined as, a collection of organized sounds. And sometimes organized sounds are not perfect. So if you if you have sounds that are not necessarily perfect, or your drum track necessarily does not keep the beat steady for one bar, something like that, it's okay. It's all music. And That's just my kind of philosophy towards it. I've always been a very freeform, kind of, I guess, loosey goosey kind of musician. I like to play like music that sounds ethereal and gives like ambiance. Um,
Yeah.
and My background's in jazz, so I guess a lot of it comes from just the jazz freeform training. A lot of that I got from my professors when I was at CNU for the little bit of time that I was there. Um, and Lots of my music is very spur of the moment. Lots of my verses and freestyles are done in one take. And sometimes you'll even hear me misspeak a word, and I'll keep it in there, and just because it sounds just fine, even
Hmm.
with like a slight misspeak on a word or two throughout.
Right.
Um, and That's just the philosophy that I've had towards music, is just the pure authenticity of the sound that you're putting forward.
So, in this day and age where you can fire up any sort of software, correct errors, or even, program the instrument you're playing yourself, why go about this method of going back to a sort of one take, very ethereal, very raw sort of playing? Why do that? Is there some sort of artistic message or reasoning behind doing that?
Because I like the sound of grunge, and it sounds very grunge when you do it in that way. That
Cool.
is the main reason.
No, I mean, I dig it. I think your music sounds much more unique compared to, artists, let's say on the top 40, just as example. And I love top 40s, as much as anyone else. So I'm not, talking crap or anything like that. But your stuff is not very Pro Tooled, and because of that, it does, like you say, have that ethereal sound. And I think it's really good stuff. Sometimes it's not easy to listen to, but I think what's really cool about it, because it's really artistic. And I think
I
definitely
find
got
a few songs that I've made myself as well that are more difficult to listen to than others, and not because of lyrical content, because of musical content and that sort of thing. But I do stand by and love all the products, all the songs that I have put out there.
Well, that's good to hear. Let's listen to one of these songs right now. This is the third track off of the new album, Year 22. This is Idols of March.
It's time to take what is owed. I always had this plan that I make it out of my hood, off of this art that I'm making. Bring home a little bacon, cop a car, a horse, a truck, and a cross on some gold. I'm 23 and I'm still here, so I care for the old. Do what I'm told. MC, do what you're told. Sing your little ass down before sound takes control. I've never had a stick except to make a fire, shoot a musket. You cook up this inspired fire, don't mistake and don't bust it. Rusty as a green statue, I'm a product of liberty. Race up the hill from the trains, pipes, quarries, and gun clubs, raising hell with this hubbub. Star-studded as the American Eagle, I'm a scout ahead and build my foundation. Scratch from my own nominations, create my own world domination. From rap masterpiece abominations, temptation. Good kid with a bad reputation. Perpetrate the rap game and hauled ass before ads, merch, stickers, or deliberation. I turned down figures in the sevens, told them sail, stubborn as all heaven. My veins flow with different medicines. I ain't sober, but these states are hard as shit as Excedrin. Smoke comes out of my mouth, steam comes out of my nose, got ahead of it. They keep trying to pass me by, they ain't work hard so they can't get ahead of it. That's a blow, but I ain't gonna lessen it. I got this far off of disrespectful rhetoric, then burned a new leaf and turned a new leaf. Now it seems that there's nothing out of reach. I've got a mind to preach. They try to impeach when I teach young wisdom that only comes from real strife. Real wisdom that only comes from real life. That's a fact. In fact, I've got a whole lot that need to hear just that. What matters is that I'm not the type to shatter. Glass is half empty, but it ain't got me in tatters. I'm always angry and to snap back. Call me the Mad Hatter, batter, try to take a swing. When you miss, I'll break your kneecaps, toss you out of the ring. Cha-ching, cha-ching, that's the money bar, heat-seeking beat maker. I sit on my throne and blast these fakers. Wearing my halo, I run through blasted plasma. I'm spreading across the world like a miasma. Try to reach my product and you'll get asthma. I appeared on the scene out of nowhere like Phantasma. Turned rappers ghosts. I don't fuck with you, then I go ghost. I can make it as a show host, cook you alive with no roast. I'm bringing home the bread, I want no toast, showboat. Rappers are paralyzed and sanitized when my pair of eyes stare straight into their eyes. Bear in mind, I'm a bear in my mind, I'm overhauled, don't get mauled. Don't get mauled, don't get mauled. Welcome to the World Trade Show. Welcome to hell. Welcome.
Well, speaking of amazing, today we are here to talk about your new album, Year 22, The World Trade Show. You know, I worked with you actually on this album pretty early on in the earliest stages many years ago.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, how does it feel to finally get it out and just let the world hear what you have been working on?
Oh man, it has been so huge for me. I it, I've gotten more eyes on this album than I had ever expected it would get. And it's really taken off, which is something that I had never expected to happen, and I'm so grateful that it happened. And I had started this album in 2020. I wanted to release it when I was 22, before my 23rd birthday, which was April 23rd of 2021. That didn't end up happening, because of there's a lot going on in my personal life that I'm not going to get into in the interview, but there was a lot going on behind the scenes. So at that moment, after I had turned 23, I decided that I was going to make year 22 the release that would come out in 2022 for myself. And I set a date ahead of time to be on the 23rd of a month, and I wanted it to be on the 23rd for a reason, because my birthday is the 23rd. So I settled on September 23rd ahead of time, and I decided to do it as a surprise drop. So that, like, of course, myself and my parents knew about the drop date. Those are the only people. And then I dropped it at noon on September 23rd, and since then it has had lots of steam, lots of traction, and I'm so very grateful and so very happy for that.
Yeah, yeah, I bet. I mean,
I worked
you know,
very
speaking,
very hard on this album, like you said.
yeah,
And there
absolutely.
was lots of recording, re-recording. I actually tracked down from more than 60 songs that were recorded down to 10, and kept them in line with the whole concept of the album, which
Well,
was
tell us
an
some.
undertaking.
Well, tell us some more of that thought process. You know, going from year 21 to 22. What were some things you wanted to improve on, and the stepping stones to get there?
Now, from 21, my first album, when that came out, I was still very, very raw. I had a lot to work on. And after 21 came out, I started taking feedback from everywhere. Everywhere that I could get it, whether it was on Reddit, it was on Twitter, it was on Facebook. I got lots of it from Facebook comment sections, believe it or not. And I had a producer from Des Moines, Iowa, hit me up. His name was Poltergeist, and he produced my second album, Evolution, not too long after that. Um, and then after that, I wanted to almost completely rework to more of a live instrument sound. So I invested and got myself more instruments, more percussion equipment, and utilized it in different ways. Tracked tons and tons and tons and tons of different songs, different sounds, and I settled with what, in the end, I thought sounded the most enjoyable to me, which was a very heavy, distorted sound with lots of hammering percussion. Um, and once I figured out that was the first big stepping stone to developing the sound of the album. And then once I figured that out, lyrics came along a little bit afterwards, and the ball was rolling.
All right. Well, I mean, there is a lot of emotion all over this record. And I really do encourage
Oh yeah.
people to sit down and just listen to
Oh yeah.
this. Like, just there's so much details. Like you say, you got a lot of instruments, lots of instrumental detail there, but there's also a lot of details in your voice, your lyrics, the instrumentation itself, it really does come off as a record that was made with blood, sweat, and tears, like a true, authentic experience to you.
Yeah. It is a true, authentic experience to everything that goes into making the music, everything that happens behind the scenes. Um, the voices is a really good thing to touch on there. I did a lot of work with cadence and with different tones of voice within the album. And no, that's not to talk about like the screams and stuff like that. Of course, there's lots of screams in there. It's very metal influenced, but the tones of voice in my normal speaking, in my cadence, in my rapping, um, it all comes down to there's types of voices that I learned from picking up from I listened to a lot of Kid Cudi and a whole lot of Kendrick Lamar when I was making this album, and those two artists in particular use a whole lot of different voices in their music, and part of that is something that I picked up from listening to those artists. But I wanted to do something outside of the box because you don't really hear a lot of rappers rapping slow and rapping slow on purpose. So on tracks like The Overdose and on tracks like Live Like Mozart, Play Like Bach, I intentionally rap with a slower cadence so that it flows slightly behind the beat, so that it has almost like a feeling of being disjointed.
It's like Liam Gallagher from Oasis. He would do the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's a very good example. And Ben and I are both very big fans of Oasis, and we've been listening to Oasis for a long time. So that's a very good example there. This album, I'm not gonna say it's my Wonderwall, but you know, I definitely put a lot of special attention into the voices and the cadences. I'm really glad that you picked up on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And something else I've been meaning to ask you pretty much ever since I listened to this album, and especially the last album, Evolution, which I really adored, as many people will know from the last interview that I did. What
Thank you for that, by the way.
That no problem. I mean, I was on the album, so just saying.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. Well, you know, pretty much since the beginning, you've been going along with this very this message of being authentic, and it's I think, a very positive message, and a message that I think is definitely in tune with your image and the way you do music. So when you come to year 2022, or year 22, apologies, what made you want to continue this, as you call it, this authentic root and message?
It's just what's ingrained in me. Keep it real, keep it authentic is the slogan that I've used since the first post on the Trademark-S page on Facebook. So that's where that comes from. I've signed off like my posts over there as letters with keep it real, keep it authentic, and then there's a comma, and then there's 3 music note emojis, 3 fire emojis, and then I skip a line and say Steve, sign it as Steve. And I've been doing that like the whole time. I've been making the music over here under this specific project name. And I would consider Trademark-S to be a project name, of course. But the authenticity of it is the amount of heart that goes into writing each and every single word and each and every single little bit, whether it be for a YouTube song, which I have lots of now, or it be for albums. And it also can portray to the, as I was saying earlier, with the fact that my sound is imperfect and it's intentionally imperfect. And I think that that also can lend into the authenticity of it. But that, for the most part, is translating to my lyrical content and how I feel about my the truth and the energy that goes into my lyrics.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of this album deals, with a lot of very tough subjects, a lot of
Yep.
pain, a lot of sorrow, and it's something we're all, feeling these days. But I can tell from just being your friend, and also just listening to the music over and over. I mean, some of these lyrics, like in Destiny, you seem to describe some of your personal trials and tribulations, especially over the last couple of years. Can you give us any insight on that? Maybe share the story of this song, or just share a story?
So a lot of the Destiny and Buy are about a very specific situation that happened in my life at the beginning of 2021. After I had left my I had been fired from my job, actually, as a dog trainer. And I was working at the SPCA. And I had some fallout with some people there after I had brought over a Christmas gift of food and things like that for the staff. And I dropped it off. And then the next day, they sent someone to my door, a police officer to my door, to serve me papers and say I couldn't trespass. And I got really pissed off about that. And I made a song about it. I actually made a few songs about it at that time. But since then, there's been, of course, I've had a couple of minor run-ins with police and stuff like that. So it comes into to that, and there's a lot of it's not explicitly stated in the song Destiny, but a lot of it is about my own struggles with substance abuse, which I do have and have had since I was about 14 years old. And
Right.
it is something that is very close to me, and it's a very intimate song. And I hope that when you listen to the song Destiny, you can really feel that pain and that angst that I was hoping to convey. And talking about Bye, that bass solo at the beginning of Bye, that's my baby. I'm so proud of that thing.
Well, let's take a break to listen to the aforementioned. This is a deep cut. This is Destiny, track number 8 on Year 22. Available right now on Spotify and all other streaming services.
Ah, shit. Life doesn't give you lemons, gotta make your own lemonade. Early mornings and long nights for plenty of days. Even when I'm down in my malaise, Ben picks me back up. I have the skill of a starter, but they call me a backup. The synthesis is only fun until it's not. How do I stack up, stimulate and synthesize my heart? As I back up a little more, what do you do when your life is a little more than others' expectations? But fuck it, no hesitation, because it's destiny. Hand of the law tried arresting me. They learned I don't break when tested, see? I'm made from the strongest metals, to the floor goes the pedals. Still I stood on top of the pedestals, looking down on pedestrians in power. I'm riding the white horse, the equestrian of the final hour. There are 4 horsemen, apocalyptic, monumental and monolithic. Lyrics cryptic, filled with intricate, exquisite wisdom. Future brighter than colors refracting from prisms. Never retracting these rhythms, I'm blasting your systems. Listen, you can't shine bright like a diamond if you can't glisten under pressure. Measure up to the greats, genuine comparison. Realize that nobody alive is great as him. Still rejecting projections from scene protectors. I'm not in class, I ain't hearing your lectures. Every verse is a masterclass. You sound like Busta when he's busting ass. Go smoke some more sassafras while I massacre on my lonesome ride to the epitaph. Orpheus.
All right, that was Destiny off Year 22. We're back here with the man himself, Trademark-X. Fuck shit. All right, that was Destiny off Year 22. We're back here with the man himself, Trademark-S. You know, the thing that I appreciate about the most as a musician, is you specifically as a musician, is two things. One, in my opinion, you're a compositional genius.
Thank you.
You just, I think, see things, and especially music, in ways that I don't think many really see. But two, you have a sense of humor just as much as you can lay down bars and verses about how tough your life may be at certain moments, and you still see the joy in it all. It's
Absolutely.
Sort of like a method to the madness. So my question coming out of that is really simple. Where did that come from? I mean, we specifically see that with the title Muscle Milk.
So Muscle Milk, I just named it Muscle Milk because it's a flex song, and Muscle Milk, you know, refers to steroids.
It's very tongue-in-cheek.
So yeah, it's a very tongue-in-cheek name for a song. But the part that really hits me there is first, thank you. I'm glad that you listen to my music from a compositional standpoint. That means a lot. But the what goes into my music is just my purest sense of self. And I am normally a very I'm a very happy-go-lucky kind of guy, but I'm also probably one of the nicest people that you will meet unless somebody crosses me. And that's the kind of music that I listen to personally, people like that, and that is how I personally am as well. So that is where most of that comes from. It's just I guess it's just from my inner self.
Yeah. I think that's very, very apparent. A lot of people, I think, you know, listen to these tracks and they don't really, they just hear something that's very melodically, what they seem is disjointed. But for you, you know, coming from your perspective and just, you know, the truth is that this album and any really music you come out with, it's all you. You know, it may be called Trademark-S, but it's Steven, you know,
it is.
On this track. It's 100% you. And I think many people out there, especially people who misunderstood or misunderstand you, I think that's something they really need to consider, you know, especially when, you know, people out there talking shit and whatever, you know.
And lots of people talk shit.
Well, it's just like, you know, get out there yourself and, you know, do it and make some music as well. Like, you know, do it your own way, right? And, you know, people have their own way and stuff like that. And I think your way is very unique to you.
Everybody is an individual. And I feel that my individuality shows the most through my artwork.
Yeah. I mean, as a person who's collaborated with you,
many
as a person
times.
who just plays games with you. Like, when I hear your song, any of your songs, there is never a moment where I go, oh, he's channeling this here, he's doing this because he's trying to be this. No, dude, it's you. Like, it's like I listen to a song and go, that's Steven. And I don't even have to listen to a lyric. I know immediately from the production itself, the way things sound. Sounds like it's something from the 60s.
Yeah.
Like, it's got that very, very rustic, very super raw energy.
And you know I love jazz,
band.
so that that hits different right there. Music from the 60s.
Yeah, it's got some of that B.B. King going on, you know? It's got that I love it. Love that stuff. But you know, speaking of, you know, tracks as well, talking about, we're going to go back to Bye, because there is a track that's a track I really wanted to ask you about, Bye.
Okay.
It's the penultimate track off of Year 22, available right now on Spotify. Starts off with this dirty bass line, but by the end, it turns into this melodic, really earwormy sort of melody. I know I already asked you, but can you give us any more insight about this song? How did you come up with this approach of, musically speaking, best of both worlds between the dirty and the clean sections?
So, originally when I made Bye, I was going to have another guitar feature on there for Jamie Rose, and that didn't end up working out. So I had written the first section of the beat, the fast section, where it's a fugue. It's literally, I took 3 sections from a Bach fugue in my old composition book and put it to the synthesizer, and then I put the beat underneath it, and it sounded really good. And that's the fast section where it kind of, it just opens up, and it's very open, and then it gets into the do do da 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 do 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 da da do. That's the stuff I'm talking about there.
Yeah.
All the section before and after that was non-existent. I had Bye was originally a full speed rap. For every single lyric that you hear in there was fit over that 2-minute 40-second space there. I decided that wasn't the direction I wanted to go with that particular song. I was like, how can I make this really stand out? Well, I want to play my bass guitar. So I played my bass guitar, and I was like, oh, well, this ended up sounding really dirty and crunchy, and I love it. So I kept it. And that bass solo was done in one take. And then I had it start with the fast beat, and then I made a beat that was slower, and the actual tempo marking of it, I went with one specific one, and you'll know exactly why when I say it. It's called Larghetto, and I I chose Larghetto because it ended with ghetto, and it gave like this really like hardcore, almost gangster rap feel to it. And I made that part very bright and airy to kind of change up the sound of it all. And then I slowed it down even more to a little bit less than 60 beats per minute. So it'd be like almost like a slow heartbeat. And then I rapped over that until the end of it, and it actually sounded better than the speed rap ever did on there. So I'm glad that I decided to go with the direction and go with the long game for that one, because in the end it came out with a product and a song that I am very, very proud of, that I was able to make something like that and put my stamp on it. And it's my own original kind of style, and I haven't heard anything like it. So I'm very proud of Bye. Absolutely. And plus it's a diss track to my old boss, so that makes it feel even better.
There you go. Always got to have one of those, right?
Oh yeah.
Song about the boss. But, switching track a little bit, we're running out of time here, and, I don't want to keep you forever.
Oh.
What's your favorite song off this record, and a song you think people should listen to right now if they're new to Trademark-S?
My favorite song off of this record is Muscle Milk, because it is energy from top to bottom. It is the last song on the album, track 10. It's called Muscle Milk, featuring Index, and I went in on creating that beat, and I gave it an intro, like a really long intro to it, with all drums and hammering drums, like I said earlier. And then the beat kicks in, I start rapping on it, and I feel like it was my best song on the album by far. And the closing verse by Index was phenomenal, as everything that man does. I gladly co-sign that man all the time. He is fantastic. And if you check out any song off of this album, Muscle Milk will be the one to check out, and then go check out Index with a 3 in it, because that dude's my dude.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Trade, for coming out to talk with me about some of your philosophy,
of course,
your personal life, and the music behind the man. I've got one question for you.
Ooh.
What's next for Trademark-S? Are we getting a year 23 live shows? Tell your fans what's going on.
So live shows are going to be a little bit further down the line. There's a lot going on in my own life and personally. And we take care of my grandfather at home, and that's nothing to shake a stick at. That takes a lot of time and effort to do that as well. So that's the reason that there hasn't been live shows or tours thus far. We've been taking care of my grandfather. So that's the reason for that. But we are going to be getting live shows very soon. You can see me play drums at any time, any Friday night at the Orleans Market in Marshall, Virginia. If you want to see Trademark-S, that's the way to do it. Sometimes I rap, sometimes I don't, but it's always a good time. There will be an album dropping soon. I'm not sure if it will be year 23, but keep an ear to the ground, as I always say. And the underground will make some sounds, and it will come to you.
All right, good man. Thank you very much, Trademark-S. The new album, Year 22, The World Trade Show, is out right now on Spotify and all streaming services you can think of. My name is SeaTactics, otherwise known as Ben, and you've been wonderful. Support independent creators, support Trademark-S, and remember to keep it authentic. Don't forget to like the video. Right. Don't forget to like the video. Comment, what is your favorite track off Year 2020? Fuck, shit. Don't forget to like the video. Comment, what is your favorite track off Year 22? We love you all. Be kind. Goodbye.
Goodbye.